The day my wife gave birth, I heard her ex tell her to fake her passing and leave the baby for me to raise. I pretended I heard nothing, brought the kid home, and raised him with my sister-in-law's devoted help.
9 whole years pass. Under my strict care, the son my wife had with her former lover actually gets accepted into Tsinghua University's highly prestigious gifted youth program.
Tomb sweeping day arrives.
While my boy and I are back in our hometown honoring the ancestors, my wife, who faked her passing, suddenly shows up. She can no longer have kids, bringing her ex and a DNA test, demanding the boy return to his real parents.
I just turn around and smile, telling her that is fine by me. But nobody knows I actually regressed in time, waking up right when Lu Ruyan vanished into the river after giving birth. My mother-in-law was crying, begging me to marry her younger sister instead. This time around, I agreed without any hesitation. In the memorial hall, the candles were flickering wildly. The warrants were still up, and Lu Ruyan's memorial portrait was placed right at the highest spot. The resentment inside my chest was almost spilling over. I desperately wanted to smash that portrait onto the ground and trample it, but I simply held it in. After all, everyone currently believes that Lu Ruyan suffered from severe postpartum depression and tragically drowned in the river. If I wrecked the memorial, people would just call me a cold-hearted monster. So I played the role of the heartbroken husband, enduring it all for 10 long years. For those 10 years, a heavy anger burned deep inside me. And that exact frustration made me completely determined to raise my child perfectly. The villagers called me a fool. They said feeding a kid is enough, and once he is older, just send him to the factory to support the family. Why try so hard? But I refused to believe that. In my past life, I successfully raised Lu Ruyan and Chen Ze's child. Could I really not raise my very own son just as well? Relying entirely on my past life memories, I raised my boy while constantly making money. Up until now, I have managed to save up a pretty massive fortune. Under my incredibly strict guidance, my 9-year-old son actually passed the Tsinghua Gifted Youth exam. This caused the media to completely swarm in, wanting to interview the farmer dad who raised a genius. I rejected every single one, keeping my simple, everyday life. Tomb sweeping day arrives again, so I take my son up the mountain. On the way, the villagers completely changed their attitude toward us, everyone flattering us constantly. They say Li Guihua was so smart to marry her second daughter off to a guy like me. Back then, they mocked a guy marrying 2 sisters, but who knew it was actually the right choice. That Xia Qiang is truly blessed to have such a brilliant son. He will definitely enjoy a great life later. Anyway, go on up the mountain and honor your ancestors. The Xia family tomb must be emitting lucky green smoke. Xia Cheng, once you get rich later, please do not forget about the rest of us. I look at those fake faces and just find it completely hilarious. My mother-in-law, however, is blushing with pure joy. Before, the village mocked her endlessly for marrying her younger daughter to her own son-in-law. Today, that old humiliation finally washes away. Once we arrive, I start burning paper money and lighting incense. Just as I tell my son to kneel, Chen Ze's mother, Li Lanhua, unexpectedly shows up out of nowhere. Before I can ask anything, she rolls her eyes with a mocking tone, saying she heard the Xia tomb was blessed, but it looks like absolute nothing to her. Whatever luck is here definitely does not belong to your family anyway. After saying that, she stares right at me with this ridiculously smug look in her eyes. My son stands nearby and tries to kneel, but she completely grabs hold of him. She asks why he is kneeling, saying a Tsinghua genius might hurt his precious head. She pretends to be super worried about him, then yells at me to kneel down myself, asking why I would force a little kid to do this heavy stuff. Claiming he is not suited for these things at all, my naturally gentle mother-in-law steps up to smooth things over, telling Xiao Yi to just stand aside since he does not need to kneel today. Hearing that, Li Lanhua finally calms down a bit, but she still refuses to leave, standing right next to my son. Watch this next move. While my mother-in-law and I pray, she sneaks over, grabbing my boy's hand and whispering something. Suddenly, the kid yells out that he absolutely refuses to do it. Whipping my head around, I see Li Lanhua already dragging the poor kid away, completely ignoring how hard he is struggling against her. I instantly rush over and pull him back, yelling at her, demanding to know what she is doing. My terrified son cries, saying she forced him to kneel at the Li family tomb.
Hearing that, Li Lanhua's face changes color for a second. My mother-in-law furiously hugs the boy tightly and shouts, demanding to know what kind of sick plan she is pulling.
He is not your child, so why make him kneel at your tomb? Do you really think your Lee family has the luck to birth a genius like this?
My mother-in-law had been holding back from the start, but now she is completely fired up, panting from pure anger. Seeing her exhausted, my son runs over, gently rubbing her back to comfort her.
Does she really think he is her grandson? Before I can even respond, my son speaks up in his clear, bright voice.
He says he wants to massage his grandma. He is happy doing it, and it is nobody's business.
My mother-in-law sarcastically chimes in, telling her to look in the mirror before demanding visits to their ancestral tomb. Does she really think she is worthy of that?
This is the child her daughter gave birth to for the Xia family, not for her Chen family. Right after those words, Li Lanhua's eyes immediately turn red with frustration, probably feeling genuinely humiliated deep down.
Seeing that my son completely refuses to pay her any attention, she can only sneakily shove my mother-in-law and me in bitter spite.
Then she stares anxiously down the mountain, clearly waiting for someone to arrive. Once the ritual is almost done, I plan to have my son finish his bows before we head down. But suddenly, a familiar voice rings out nearby, telling Xiao Yi not to bow because those are not his ancestors. Right as that voice fades, I turn around and see Lu Nuyen and Tron Troc. Both of them are dressed in these incredibly elegant, high-end clothes, looking exactly like pure high society. I shoot a quick glance at Li Lanhua. Sure enough, she is wearing this incredibly smug smirk. This woman clearly knew that Liu Nuyen faked her passing years ago. Hearing all the commotion, the villagers around us immediately rush over to watch. My mother-in-law stands behind me, getting a clear look at the person in front of her, eyes totally red, shaking all over. She steps up and tremblingly touches Lu Nuyen's face.
Nuyen, are you really still alive? The older woman's face is absolutely streaming with tears. Seeing this, Liu Nuyen immediately breaks down crying too.
Mom, it is me, Nuyen. I am so sorry. Seeing her daughter come back from the beyond, my mother-in-law is completely overwhelmed. But glancing back at me and my son, she slowly calms down.
Liu Nuyen links her arm with Tron Troc, stepping right up to me.
Jun Trak is the one who speaks first. Ha Kuang, I never expected you to actually have the skills to raise my son this well. But Tio Ditch is older now, so it is best he returns to his biological parents. We three have been apart for way too long, and today is our grand reunion. Liu Nuyen also gets teary-eyed, sweeping a pretty complicated look over me before gently grabbing our son's hand.
Deodik, I am your mother. I am so sorry. You really suffered so much these past years. Saying this, she turns back to me with this incredibly conflicted look in her eyes. You really did raise Deodik quite well.
But a child should always be with their real parents anyway. As for you, I will give you a sum of money, just to repay your efforts in raising him all these years. She says this and pulls the phone from her pocket, looking like she wants to transfer the money right here. My son turns his head, giving me this desperate look for help, basically asking if all of this is actually true. Now pay close attention to this guy's nerve. Tran Trak gently wipes the tears off Liu Nuyen's face and tells her, "All right, today is our beautiful reunion. Please stop crying." Then he turns right back to me, voice dripping with heavy sarcasm. "Did you not hear what Nuyen just said? Tio Dick is my son, and you are just some fool being used. Now that we are back, it is finally time for you to hand our kid over to us." Hearing this, all the villagers around us go wide-eyed, their gazes bouncing rapidly back and forth between me and him. Right at that moment, my mother-in-law, who has been completely silent, steps up and slaps Liu Nuyen across the face, hard. The crisp sound leaves absolutely everyone completely stunned. Liu Nuyen's eyes go wide, staring at her in shock. "Mom, why did you hit me?" My mother-in-law just glares at her. "Is Tio Dick really your and Tran Trak's son?" Liu Nuyen tearfully nods her head. "It is true, Mom. Back then, Atrak and I agreed Tio Dick must return to us." She does not even finish speaking before Tran Trak and Li Lanhua lunge forward, fully intending to snatch the kid away. Liu Nuyen looks reluctant, glancing back at me. "Hakorn, I will make this up to you." My son struggles wildly, and I am just about to step up and pull him behind me, but Tran Trak flashes this incredibly wicked smile. The very next second, he shoves me super hard. I am about to fall when a pair of soft hands suddenly catches me. Seeing this familiar face, Liu Nuyen instantly reacts. Nu Tuet, why are you even here? Seeing Liu Nu Tuet, the surrounding villagers quickly crowd closer too. Everyone knows she is a famous businesswoman now, someone people constantly want to flatter. If you can just get close to her, landing a good job becomes so incredibly easy.
But Liu Nu Tuet pays zero attention to those flattering faces, just staring coldly straight at Liu Nuyen.
Under that utterly freezing gaze,
Liu Nuyen cannot help but flinch away. She still cannot accept that her little sister, who used to trail behind her smiling goofily, has now become such a coldly intense woman.
Thinking about their close sisterly bond from the past, Liu Nuyen takes a careful step closer, gently grabbing her hand. Nu Tuet, Tio Dick really is my and Atrak's son. Back then, he and I were totally in love, but Mom refused to accept it, forcing me to marry Hakun instead.
At first, I planned to just live quietly like that, but I unexpectedly got pregnant with Atrak's baby. I had no other choice but to leave.
Over the years, I have made some money. As long as Hakwang agrees to return Tio Dick, I will gladly pay to compensate him. You can guess how this goes over. Liu Nuyen looks at Liu Nu Tuet with so much hope, but the younger sister remains completely unmoved, just staring coldly. I also give Liu Nuyen an incredibly icy look. What exactly gives you the right to snatch Tio Dick? She answers right back. Because we are the boy's actual biological parents. Hearing that, I just burst out laughing, locking my eyes entirely onto Liu Nuyen, emphasizing every single word. Tio Dick is not your biological son. She bites her lip, eyes totally red, throwing this complicated look as she speaks every sentence with absolute firmness. Ha Kwang, I know you are heartbroken and really do not want to accept this reality, but Tio Dick is my and Atrak's son. I am absolutely not lying about this. Liu Nuyen tells me exactly that, then immediately grabs Tio Dick's hand, fully intending to take him away. But this time, Liu Nu Tuet steps directly in the way. That is not your child. He is my child. Liu Nu Tuet frowns, staring at the sister who supposedly passed away 10 years ago, standing right there. Your child. Liu Nuyen frowns, her face full of absolute doubt, before suddenly seeming to remember something. Her expression entirely relaxes as she speaks. Oh, I completely get it now. Back then, Mom worried how Kung could not raise Tio Dick, so she made you fake marry him to help out. You really have worked so hard all these years. But now that I am back, I will fulfill my motherly duties. You can finally go get married for real now. Liu Nu Tuet just lets out a bitter laugh, completely ridiculous. When this kid needed his mom the most, you just weren't there. Now that he's grown, doesn't need any looking after, and has a bright future, you two finally decide to show up. Liu Nuyen lowers her head. She looks at her younger sister with a slight hint of guilt. But after hearing her say thank you, Liu Nu Tuet's expression doesn't soften at all. It actually gets even colder. She asks Liu Nuyen if she completely lost her mind. I told you, this is my child. Hakun and I had him. His name is Hatu Zik. Liu Nuyen's face slowly turns incredibly dark. Do I not know my own child? She says she really appreciates Liu Nu Tuet helping look after Til Years these past few years, but he is strictly her and Atrak's son. Today is the memorial festival, so let the boy return to his true roots and pay respects at the Chan family ancestral shrine. Saying that, she steps right past Liu Nu Tuet, fully intending to drag Til Yik away. She tells Til Yik to be good, saying his mom and dad wronged him, but she will make up for everything from now on.
Chừng Trạch stepped up to, his eyes glued to the kid, tears welling up. Seeing this scene, they genuinely look like a pair of anguished biological parents desperately searching for their child.
The little boy looks at them, total fear in his eyes, shrinking back behind Liu Nu Tuet. He cries out, Mom, who are these people?
Why are they saying he is their kid? He is clearly her and dad's son. Liu Nu Tuet's heart aches as she reaches out, fiercely protecting her son behind her back.
I step up to block them. Seeing Til Yik call Liu Nu Tuet his mother, Liu Nuyen's tears instantly start falling like rain. She insists she is his real mom. I finally can't hold back anymore and speak up. Til Zik is my and Liu Nu Tuet's son, the child she personally gave birth to. I laid it out that clearly. Can you somehow still not understand a single word I'm saying?
As for your child, he didn't make it. Hearing this, Liu Yin goes completely pale, like she got struck by lightning, muttering that it's impossible.
How could I be with New Twit? She says I promised to only love her. She asks if I'm lying, begging to know how Tiao Yit could possibly be gone.
He was perfectly healthy. Truntrak absolutely refuses to believe it either. Looking around, everyone else's eyes are just filled with total pity.
Liu Yin totally panicking, but she still desperately tries staying calm.
She tells me she knows I can't accept this, but I shouldn't curse Taeljik to be gone. Besides, since I loved her so much, how could I end up with Nutuet?
I once said I would only love her for my whole life. Her eyes are brimming with hope, like she's waiting for me to deny it and say exactly what she wants to hear.
I just turn and firmly grab Liu Twit's hand, our 10 fingers locking tightly together.
Taeljik is strictly my and Nutuet's son. Not just I know this, the whole village knows. If she doesn't believe it, she can go ask my mom.
Now watch closely. If she still won't believe me about her kid, I can take her to see him. I just fear she won't handle it.
Liễu Như Yên freeze up, Hòa Trình Trạch yell that is impossible, claiming Tiểu Dịch is his và Như Yên son. Everyone around just sighs as I turn my head và tell them to follow me.
Liễu Như Yên looks up at her mother, eyes brimming with tears. But my mom just bitterly tells them to go, saying they brought all of this entirely on themselves.
Liễu Như Yên has no choice but to follow me and Liễu Như Tuyết. Trần Trạch hurriedly runs right after us too.
Once we arrive, they see the tiny grave right before them. Trần Trạch acts like he's struck by lightning, rushing to the stone, trying hard to read the engraved words. Seeing the name clearly, he screams out in pure absolute despair. Impossible. He yells that his child was a top student at Thanghua, the one with the brightest future. How could he be gone? This definitely has to be a fake.
Trần Trạch refused to believe it. Liễu Như Yên is stern silent too. Her eyes suddenly flood with intense sorrow as she just stares at me.
Taeljik quietly stands in front of me, his tiny little body trembling, but he still tries his best to protect me. My heart suddenly feels so incredibly warm. That's right, marrying Liu Như Twit and having Taeljik was the absolute best decision of my entire life. My son is so well behaved and incredibly understanding. And Liu Như Tuyết and I are the model couple that the whole village admires. In my past life, when those two came back to claim their child, even though Taeljik didn't call them parents right away. But in the very end, when I slipped and fell down the mountain, that boy just stood completely still without reacting at all. After being reborn, I've always carried this heavy, lingering burden in my heart. You feel the dread building here, right? Just 2 days after I married Liu Như Twet, the original Taeljik suddenly caught a dangerously high fever. The doctor said he had a cold earlier, and bringing him in so late meant they couldn't save him. And just like that, in this timeline, that baby boy named Taeljik left us before he was even 1. During our 2nd year, Liu Như Twet and I had a son of our own. I still decided to name this little boy Taeljik.
Liu Yin simply cannot accept the sight in front of her. She totally refuses to believe her son is gone and absolutely cannot handle the fact I had another child.
Ignoring Tron-Trek sitting completely dazed before the gravestone, she reaches her hand out toward me. With a trembling voice, she begs, "Ha Kern, this definitely has to be fake, right?"
You loved me so much. You definitely would have taken really good care of our child. You definitely wouldn't turn a fake marriage into a real one with Nutie. There never was any real feelings between you two anyway. Our son is still perfectly healthy, isn't he? She admits she was wrong, begging me to stop lying to her now. I'll come back to you, and we can live a good life together, all right? Her tears are falling like rain, looking at me with totally desperate pleading eyes.
I don't answer at all, just turning my head to tightly hold Liu Như Twit's hand. I honestly thought after that tragic past life, I wouldn't ever fall in love so easily again.
Marrying Liu Như Twit, I honestly just saw it as a way to get back at Liu Như Yin.
But Liu Như Twet actually treated me with real sincerity. She appreciated me, understood me, and shared every single hardship we faced while trying to survive in a foreign place. She went through absolute hell right by my side.
We went through so much pain together. How could I possibly not fall in love with her?
My heart had completely belonged to Liu New Tuet for a long time. But before I can even answer, someone else speaks up for me.
Sister, I still call you that, hoping you finally wake up and see the truth. Everything Ha Kern just said is completely right.
If you hadn't faked your death back then to run off with Trunchek, I never would have had the chance to marry him.
That child is dead anyway, and you and Trunchak are already married. Once the grief passes, couldn't you two just easily have another kid together?
Liễu Như Tuyết sounds so genuine, her voice still holding a little bit of love for the older sister she used to care about.
But Liu Nuyin isn't listening at all. Her lips tremble, ready to argue back, but their mother suddenly cuts her off. Enough. This entire mess is your fault. Liu Yu-Ian, that baby died because you left without even putting a blanket over him.
Hearing this, Liu Yu-Ian lets out a freezing laugh. Mom, you think I don't know you favor New Tuet? Why else would you marry her off to Ha Kung?
Did you secretly want me dead early so you could give all your love to New Tuet? Hearing that absolute nonsense, I almost laugh out loud.
If my mother-in-law really favored Liu New Tuet, she never would have married her off to me.
Back then, Liu New Tuet was only 19, the absolute prime of her youth, never having loved anyone. But out of pity for a motherless grandson, the old woman had to marry off her youngest daughter to me, a divorced guy who already had a kid of his own. Forget the fact that I was her brother-in-law. Just looking at my miserable situation back then, everyone thought I wasn't even close to being worthy of Liu New Tuet. If she hadn't already harbored feelings for me, she probably would have been miserable her whole life. The one who actually got the favored treatment was clearly Liu Nuyin.
Sure enough, the moment she hears those cruel words, the light in my mother-in-law's eyes completely dies out.
For years, she truly believed Liu Nuyin was dead. When she found out her daughter's only remaining flesh and blood was gone too, she cried every single day, completely crushed by the grief. If Liu New Tuet and I hadn't had a baby the very next year, she would have completely collapsed. To honor that lost child, she took all her retirement savings, ignoring all the village gossip. She stubbornly buried Liu Nuyin and the baby right beside each other. She even set up a proper headstone for that poor little kid. You know how small villages are. The locals all called her incredibly stupid. When kids die young here, people usually just bury them roughly in a random corner. Why go through all that trouble? But she insisted on doing it anyway, pouring years of love into a completely pointless pain. My mother-in-law sheds a quiet tear. That is enough. I showed you the graves, and you know the whole truth now.
Mom, the kid and I are heading down the mountain now. Let's go.
I say that and turn around to leave, but Liu Nuyin steps right in front of me. Her eyes look miserable, voice choking up. Didn't you say you would never fall for anyone but me? Why? Why did you give your real heart to Liu New Tuet? I answer her with a freezing tone. When you chose to fake your death and run away with Trunchek, I was only 22. Was I supposed to stay lonely my entire life and never remarry? But Liu Nuyin stays stubborn. We shared so many beautiful memories. How could you just easily forget them all and be with her? Trunchek's face turns black as coal. I just stare at her with a cold smile. When you eloped with Trunchek, why didn't you think about those memories? Besides, you never truly loved me anyway. If you did, how could you possibly run off with him? The second I finish speaking, Liu Nuyian's face changes colors rapidly. She tries to say something, but Trunchek has completely lost his patience. A cold glint flashes in his eyes. Liu Nuyin, we are married now, and you're still pining over this guy?
Do you realize our baby probably died by his hands? After dropping that bomb, he immediately grabs Liu Nuyin's arm, trying to drag her straight down the mountain.
This is getting wild. They only came back to get their kid, but now the whole situation has completely spiraled out of control.
Trunchek realizes that if he doesn't get Liu Nuyin out of here fast, he won't just lose his kid, his own wife might actually run off with another man.
But the moment he reaches out, Liu Nuyin ruthlessly slaps his hand away.
Staring at the red mark on his hand, a spark of pure fury flashes in Trunchek's eyes, his entire face flushing bright red. In the past, if he suffered even the tiniest scratch,
Liu knew Ian would be completely heartbroken, desperately wishing she could just endure the pain for him instead.
But right now, she doesn't seem to care at all. Chuntrak glares at me, his eyes absolutely overflowing with toxic resentment.
Liu Nutuyết frowned slightly. She never expected her dead sister, coming back to life after 10 years, would still harbor these kinds of intense feelings for me.
Completely annoyed, she finally snaps. Liu Nuyen, I have already shown you plenty of respect.
You did something completely shameful back then, and now you come back to steal my son. When that fails, you try to steal my husband.
You honestly have absolutely zero shame. Hearing Liu Nutuyết say that, Liu Nuyen's eyes instantly turn bright red.
She stares right at me, tears pouring down her face nonstop, and chokes out, "Ha Kung, could you really just forget about me?" She refuses to believe it, claiming I once promised to love only her. I just put my hand up, cutting her off right there. She already made her choice, and she already has Chuntrak.
I point straight at Chuntrak with a mocking smile, telling her to actually cherish the person standing right beside her.
Chuntrak is the exact guy she abandoned her family for. I tell her to think about that, ignoring Liu Nuyen's attempts to hold me back. I just take Liu Nutuyết and our son by the hand and leave the mountain behind.
I honestly thought that festival encounter would be the very last time I ever had to see Liu Nuyen.
If she had even a tiny ounce of shame left, she definitely wouldn't keep trying to bother me like this.
But surprisingly, just one day later, I find her right at my front door. Liu Nuyen wears a long dress, hair flowing down, looking exactly the same as she did on our wedding day so many years ago. The second she spots me, she stands right up with tearful eyes, whispering that I finally came back home.
She bites her lip, calling out for Ha Kern, looking at me with this painful, expectant gaze. She admits she messed up back then, but claims she finally realizes her huge mistakes now.
She asks if I can forgive her, reminding me of how deeply I used to be in love with her.
She actually assumes I am with Liu Nutuyết just to make her jealous. I take 2 steps back on instinct, completely baffled by how someone could be this ridiculously shameless.
I rub my forehead, feeling a massive headache coming on, and ask Liu Nuyen coldly what she actually wants.
We are totally finished. Can she seriously not understand that? Why is she constantly hung up on whether I still have any feelings for her?
So I tell her clearly one more time, I do not love her anymore. Is that enough? Why does she even want to hear that? What is her big plan here? Does she plan to leave Chuntrak while I leave Liu Nutuyết so we can just get back together?
The second I say that, Liu Nuyen's face lights up completely as she steps forward. She eagerly nods, agreeing that we were always meant to be right by each other's side.
Looking at her totally serious expression, it hits me with absolute shock. She genuinely believes this insane idea. I honestly assumed she was just acting out of pure jealousy after finding out I really married Liu Nutuyết, but I never imagined her mind could cook up such a completely wild scheme.
I quickly step back, yelling out at Liu Nuyen, asking if she has lost her mind and forgotten everything she did.
She loved Chuntrak so intensely, she would have risked everything without regrets, completely abandoning her family just to be with him. And now she wants out? I truly cannot believe what I am hearing. I seriously think she has gone completely mad. In my past life, I fell off a mountain and perished. That tragedy involved Liu Nuyen and Chuntrak, though not entirely their fault. So in this life, I just plan to meet them during the festival, letting them taste the pain of losing their child and deep despair, before closing that chapter for good. But I honestly never expected Liu Nuyen to still hold on to feelings for me. If she actually loved me, then why did she so stubbornly choose Chuntrak back then? I really just cannot wrap my head around it.
Liu Nuyen choked up, admitting she chose Chuntrak, but after giving up everything for him, she realized her love for him was not nearly as strong as she once believed.
Worse yet, 2 years into their marriage, Chuntrak started getting violent. The first time was when he got heavily drunk, and it has been going on for 8 long years now.
Here is where it gets incredibly heavy. Crying, she pulls up her sleeve to reveal countless scars and cigarette marks all over her arm, with the freshest injury clearly caused by Chuntrak just yesterday.
It was still completely unhealed, even after they got back from the mountain.
Seeing that terrible sight,
I do feel a quick twinge of pity. but I firmly remind her that she chose this exact path 10 long years ago, so none of this has absolutely anything to do with me anymore. Besides, what on earth makes her think I would ever want someone like her back?
I look straight into her eyes, spelling it out clearly for Liu Nuyen. She is an adult, so she must understand there is no magical cure for regret in life.
If Trontract actually hurts her, she should divorce him instead of coming here to find me. I am spending my entire life with Liu Nu Twit, just as I promised her. Liu Nu Ian goes pale, her eyes turning red, before she quietly turns around and walks away. I get this strong feeling that she will probably never show up in front of me again. Obviously, there was a very good reason my mother-in-law completely opposed Liu Nu Ian and Chun Trek getting together back then. Never mind Chun Trek's incredibly difficult mother, because the guy himself was honestly never a decent person to begin with anyway. In the village, he is famously known as a total gambling addict, mastering every single betting game since he was very young. Besides Liu Nu Ian, who was completely blinded by the glowing halo of her first love, absolutely no other girl would ever agree to marry a guy like him. Later on, when Tren Trak moved back to live in the village, he completely reverted to his old, terrible ways. Or more accurately, he never actually changed to begin with. He is not just a casual gambler, but a genuinely corrupted soul through and through. Over the past 10 years, Chun Trek probably hid his gambling from Liu Nuyen countless times, completely draining absolutely all of their household funds. After the festival incident, Trak falls into complete despair, having absolutely nothing left to look forward to anymore. Just imagine his absolute shock, especially when Liu Nuyen openly expressed wanting me back right in front of him. Even the boy he thought was his genius son at a top academy turned out to not be his own flesh and blood at all. That revelation makes his mother, Li Lanhua, go absolutely crazy with wild anger. Meanwhile, Chun Trek spends every single night drinking his sorrows away. Ultimately, he throws all his remaining hopes straight onto the gambling table. But as they say, gambling means losing 9 times out of 10. Soon enough, Chun Trek loses absolutely every penny, even racking up the truly massive debt to some dangerous people. Every time he loses money, he heads home and takes his furious anger out on Liu Yuan. Back when they lived elsewhere, even if she cried out for help, absolutely nobody around him would ever care. But after returning home, it wasn't just Chun Trek hitting her anymore. Even Li Lanhua, realizing her son no longer cared for his wife, and knowing her daughter-in-law had nowhere else to run, started getting physically abusive too. Almost every single day, Liu Nuyen takes a brutal beating, pure, agonizing misery. Time passes. Eventually, my mother-in-law, who deeply resented Liu Nuyen from the very start, finally breaks down and cannot take it anymore. After all, this is still the very daughter she brought into the world. She looks at me, voice trembling. She begs to help Nuyen just a little. Seeing her completely destroyed like this simply shatters her heart. Tears stream right down her wrinkled face. I let out a heavy sigh. Fine, we can help. But just handing over cash or random stuff is completely useless to her right now. I will find her a solid lawyer, push the divorce through, and send her far away from this place. She can never come back. My mother-in-law nods, eyes full of deep gratitude. That is enough. She tells me to just live peacefully with Nu Twit, promising never to let Nu Yi In bother us again. Later that exact same night, waiting for Li Nu Twit to get home, I tell her everything. At the end of the day, Liu Nuyen is still her biological older sister. Family ties are a deep bond you simply cannot ever sever. Sure enough, Liu Nu Twit stays totally quiet, just giving a very soft nod. The very next day, she immediately hires a lawyer for Liu Nu In and also sends someone to teach Chun Trek a seriously painful lesson. After the divorce successfully goes through, Liu Nuyen wants to see us one last time. We both feel it is completely unnecessary, so she just leaves, in total silence. From that moment on, our daily lives slowly return to a genuine, comforting peace. The painful memories of my past life are gradually healed by our current happiness. Looking back at it all now, I just smile in pure relief. A person rarely gets a second spring. So here is the lesson. If you find real love, never betray it.